Good morning.
Oh, good grief, I'm not ready.
You're not ready? What, we had Dewey Brothers? What? Welcome to the funnest church in the universe. Little bit odd, but that's okay. We're the only ones that ever start our services with the Doobie Brothers. So there you go. And what's really interesting is, for everybody out there too, during the summer our numbers stay about the same. Wintertime they stay about the same. They don't change a whole lot. Super Bowl don't change much at all. RadCon? RadCon makes a difference. Yeah, oh yeah. And if you don't know what RadCon is, stick around, you'll figure it out. But that's pretty funny. That is really funny. Because we know a lot of people that are over at RadCon right now. So we're real happy that, thank you, Sarah, so much for doing the McCamera today. Appreciate that. We didn't think that was going to happen. So, eggs in the back. There were 12 dozen eggs, and now there's a whole lot less. But if you want some, you better go back and get some. So, and they are good, and I know they're good price because I was wondering. So I checked in the store the other day, and $4 a dozen is a good price. So, all right. Things going on at the church. We always have things going on here. It's amazing. No, you can't talk. Course in Miracles at 1 o'clock after services. So, cool. So the mandala meditation is tonight too? Or Monday night? Monday night. Okay, so there's a little change on the calendar here. There's a mandala meditation tomorrow night at 6:30. Do we assume that Daryl's doing drum circle on Tuesday? I haven't heard not, so I assume Daryl's doing a drum circle. Applied Intuition, Valerie and Beth on Wednesday. Talk to them if you want to know that. ARE meeting on Thursday. Art and Soul at noon on Saturday. Does anybody know what that is? 10 to noon. Oh, yeah. For fun. Yeah. Cool. Art and Soul. So we have, what is this? We have Friday this week that there's nothing going on. Really? All right. And that's one of the great thrills that Jan and I have, because we had hoped and planned when we first started the church over 20 years ago that this is exactly what would happen, that this facility would be used for something other than Sunday services and maybe an occasional service during the week. So, ARE has Saturday, May 5th, they're doing Breaking the Cycle of Karma by Walking the Master's Path. So it should be a wonderful, wonderful get-together. ARE does a lot of their regional stuff. They do it once a year here. They use the facility a lot, which is wonderful. But they do frequently do their once a year big deal regional promotion. So we have people from all over the state and the region coming here, which is always fun. So that's a deal. And then Jan wanted me to read this because this is Voices from Beyond. I'm just going to read this whole thing just because. Yes? Okay. Our loved ones want to connect with us. Often our own grief or stress keeps us from hearing or perceiving their contact. A psychic medium lifts their energy to become a go-between this world and the other side. Janice Lynch didn't know she was a psychic and certainly didn't have any inkling that she should be contacting the other side until she did. In that moment, her world and her perceptions changed. The person receiving the message was greatly blessed by the information brought through. This information was something only the receiver could have known. As you might imagine, this event totally freaked Janice out, and she prayed to not ever speak to someone who had passed away again. She did. Oh, yeah. A short time later, another message came through for someone else. Again, the receiver was greatly blessed by the information that came through, and Janice again prayed this would be the last time that someone from the other side would come through. Needless to say, that was not the last time. With the third experience, the blessing was so great for the one receiving the information that Janice prayed again. This time the prayer was, bring it on. And she's going to be doing this. She hasn't done this in a couple of years at least. She's going to be doing it at the Expo on Saturday evening, April 7th, from 6 to 8 p.m. There is a cost, but there's a discount for couples. So Healing Light Expo, you can sign up or talk to Jan or whatever. And Danette, what do you want?
Oh,
Good.
Voices from Beyond.
Good.
So when I first came to church, or before, I was very skeptical, so I pretty much interrogated Janice at her house. We had a conversation. So when the first speak to the others? Voices from Beyond came, I actually brought a friend who was struggling with the loss of a boyfriend many years ago. And I sat and just cried through the whole thing and had healing, and it wasn't really about me. The second time I came and brought somebody else for them, and Janice started telling me about this person, and she described her like this. She wore these things, and it's funny because she kind of wore this kind of thing, like moo-moos. And I was like, okay, I think that might be my mother-in-law. And then she said, and she like have big kind of, bouffant, is that what that was? Yeah, hair. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure, but still skeptical. And then Janice kept doing this, like something like this, and she goes, oh, I know. Janice was wearing this beautiful bling, and my mother-in-law had wanted this. So Janice said, she wants my shawl or scarf or whatever. And I said, okay, I'm totally convinced. That is totally my mother-in-law, because she's all about bling. And so every time I've come, I've not only had someone come through for me, and I've never came for myself, really, I've just brought other people. And every time somebody came through for me, but also I watch so many people be healed by the experience, and through their healing I was healing, in my chair and in my space too. So if you have never been, or if you've been, you want to go back, right? So it's a great event. Thank you.
Thank you, Danette.
Thank you. Thank you. We do have a couple patron saints by the name of George Carlin and John Lennon. And they actually know. I know George knows because we told him when we met him, and John, he knows. He knows. John said, though, life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. Absolutely true. And George, equally was insightful, just when I discovered the meaning of life, they changed it. Happens all the time. So, no, I was wondering because when I read this one, I think she's young enough she shouldn't hear. I mean, I think she should be fine with this because I don't think she's listening. Blood has been a source of fascination and mystery for untold centuries. I did that one. That's not the one I was going to do. This is the one. Scientific study of the human anatomy is a very recent development. Ancient doctors refused to cut into corpses for fear of the ghost of the deceased. This fear gradually mellowed into a kind of respect for the dead, so firmly fixed that English law prohibited surgeons from practicing dissection. There was only one loophole in the law. A doctor might cut up the body of an executed criminal. This condition prevailed until passage of the Anatomy Act of 1832, which was a statute authorizing and regulating the study of anatomy and the disposition of dead bodies. And probably some of you that are, if you're new here, you're wondering, what is he doing? What is he talking about? But the rise of modern medicine created a great demand for anatomical subjects. Professional grave robbers or resurrection men dug up bodies, sold them to physicians at high prices. Many an early doctor dissected only one body in his entire life. Naturally, he would prize the skeleton highly and be reluctant to dispose of it. But public opinion made it dangerous for him to keep it where it might be found. So the prudent anatomist usually hung this prize in some dark corner where visitors were not likely to see it. This practice was so common that people began to take it for granted that the doctor had a skeleton in his closet. That's where that one came from. So, yep. I know you came here today wondering, where did that term come from? Just, gosh. Things that make you go, There are many things that we would throw away if we were not afraid that others might pick them up. So, all right. It takes more than 2,000 cows to supply the NFL with enough leather for a year's worth of footballs. Wow. Yeah. That's a whole lot less methane going around, right? Or methane, depending on what country you're from. So, great truths about growing old. Growing up is mandatory. Growing old is optional. Forget the health food. I need all the preservatives I can get. Chewing gum while peeling onions will keep you from crying. I don't know. Says so. Oh, there's a couple of other ones here. I want to report back on some of this stuff. Sherlock Holmes never said elementary, my dear Watson. I knew he hadn't done that, so that was interesting. An old law in Bellingham, Washington made it illegal for a woman to take more than 3 steps backwards while dancing. The glue on Israeli postage is certified kosher. I think that's true, actually. So, the Guinness Book of Records holds the record for being the book most often stolen from public libraries. Astronauts are not allowed to eat beans before they go into space. Because passing wind in a spacesuit damages them. I don't know. Bats always turn left when exiting a cave. Really? I don't know. I'd be curious. Somebody report back on some of this stuff. I need to know. Hey, you want to talk about something? Okay.
Just real quick, I wanted to report on what's going on with the expo. I'm not sure, but Janice is working on the volunteers list again, so if you would still like to volunteer and haven't contacted her yet, please talk to Janice. She's in charge of that. We have about, I think the last count was 8 booths to fill. So cool. That's pretty darn good, especially because I got started on a little bit later this year. But so if you are interested in having a booth, please contact me, healinghands999@gmail.com. Send me an email with your description of what you would like to offer, and I can let you know if that category is full or not. Art, jewelry, healing, reading, I think yoga, all that kind of stuff is full. So if you have other things, other items that you'd like to offer, other things you'd like to do. Acupuncture, we did have them drop out, so we do have a spot for acupuncture. So anything like that, let me know, please. We have like 8 more to fill. So.
And when's the show?
It is April 7th and 8th. Yes.
Would you repeat your email?
healinghands999@gmail.com.
And one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you have a booth that's new?
Email me with all of your
so long
details
as we
and I'll
have the
make that
specifics.
decision. Yeah, well, I can make that decision. And then just one more plug for Wednesday. Beth was just asking me to mention this. The the development thing that we do with the intuition thing on Wednesday night is absolutely amazing. If you are interested in finding out more how your intuition works, how your psychic works, we have a wonderful process that we're going to do that you've never experienced before. So if you'd like to come, it's Wednesday night, $10 donation to the church, and we start at 6:30. Thank you.
Cool.
Yes. Is it too early to bring in silent auction items?
Oh, bless you. Thank you for saying something.
Carol's not here. I think she's at RadCon. Anyway, thank you, Mary. I saw pictures yesterday on Facebook. Silent auction items are being collected now. If you have, we would like to have more like new items. None of your, what we call junk or yard sale kind of stuff. Nice, gently used items if you have them. New things if you want. If you have a gift certificate, display it nicely. We had one that was just brought in by Mary Lou today that's in a frame. It's absolutely beautiful. We will take donations of all kinds and sorts. If you'd like to put together a basket of a theme, like a movie theme, a garden theme, something like that, that's also welcome. Make sure that when you bring it in that you have the value of the item on there, and if you want to have recognition for it, your name as well. Okay, and then just bring them in here to the church and we'll start collecting items in the back. Anything I missed?
How does it work for people who don't know?
The silent auction, it actually is, it's turned out to be a very big moneymaker for us at the expo.
who knew?
We get a lot of really cool items. They set them out on the tables. They put bid sheets in front of them with the value of it. There's usually a starting bid, and then you go up increments of, say, $1, $5, depending on the value of the item. Then we also have, we're going to have a raffle item as well, which is going to be a, what is it called, a wine Wine to Cruise, Susan, yes, is donating that for us this year. We're going to be raffling that off. So we have that. And Chris Powell, bless her heart, with all of the things she's had going on this year, is still making a quilt for us. So we'll be raffling a quilt off as well. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, so this is the 18th year we've done this show. You know, it's always been, it's our biggest outreach of the year, just to kind of show people, you know, that, hey, we're here and we're not too freaky. So, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, people stay all weekend long. It's fun when we get a new vendor. Vendors come back every year. I mean, they pay, we had probably 30 booths. Half full at the end of the show last year. It's just amazing. But when we get somebody new, they say, whoa, how many people do you have at the gate? And, you know, it's usually around 600. Almost no matter what we do, it's always around 600. But they stay for hours. They come back the next day. So it always looks and feels like a lot more people. And guess what? They actually spend money with the vendors. So it's a good deal. So, all right. A young engineer was leaving the office at 3:45 when he found the acting CEO standing in front of a shredder with a piece of paper in his hand. Listen, said the acting CEO, this is a very sensitive, important document. My secretary is not here. Can you make this thing work? Certainly, said the young engineer. Turned the machine on, inserted the paper, pressed the start button. Excellent, excellent, said the acting CEO as his paper disappeared into the machine. I just need one copy. Never assume your boss knows what he's doing. Oops. Oops. All right. We're going to do a song. It's, you have...
That's a nice segue, isn't it? I'm going to leave the screen down. I got stuff to do. Thanks. Ugh. You know, you're old when every time you move, you go, oh. Communion sign up. We need help for today's the 11th. So next Sunday, oh, this is in March? March. Oh, yay. Okay, so we need help in March. Also, we're looking for people who are willing to just take it on as a mini ministry once a month on a particular Sunday. Maybe even have a couple people being willing to do that. So if that works for you, see Jenny, raise your hand, flail in the air over there, and she can get you squared up, get your questions answered, all that sort of thing. So if you're willing to do communion, don't have a clue what that is, see Jenny. I'm going to pass the sign-up sheet around, so take a look at that, see if that's something you want to sign up for. That stuff. Okay, so we have an expo coming up. Oh my word. Oh my word, oh my word, oh my word. So let me show you this. These are all volunteer positions. Sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets. And we've got most of them full. There's still some spots left. So look, if your name is not on here and there's a blank spot, please put your name and phone number. Because we'd love to have you. If you don't know what's being asked of you, there you go. That one I need. That one's full. I'm going to pull that out of there. So what I need mostly is, that one's full. That one's full. That one's full. I'll tell you what's full. Here in a sec. So I get my fingers to work. I could use more on that. And Sunday services. Okay. So what we've got done is the kids' activities. Got that all scheduled up. Yay. People helping you in the Divine Fellowship booth. That's all scheduled up. So yay on that. The seminar schedule is done. And the Readers and Healers schedule is done. I'm going to send these around anyway. Just look at all the sheets. If your name is there, check it off that you've looked at it and that time is good for you. If I don't have your phone number, I need it. Most of these I just ran out of time to get your phone number on, but it would really save me a ton of time if you'd put your phone number on there. So that would be helpful. I'm going to send this around. I've only got one set So, helpers in the seminars. So let me put a pen on that. This separate one is for drumming. I have a couple of spots left for our grandfather drum thing. So I'm going to send it this way. I don't have a pen. You can grab a pen and put that on there. So there's opening spots and closing spots. Okay. Hey Phil, could you do the singing bowl? Let's just shift gears. Because I'm like whacked. It's a big thing. It's really a big thing. So
I know. We haven't done a singing bowl in like months, and we did it last week and this week.
we just need it.
I know.
We need that singing bowl. So is there anyone here who'd like to read the prayer while we... Valerie, you want to read the prayer? Not for prayer. And I'm just going to stand here and suck that up.
Okay, the prayer is in the front part of your songbooks if you'd like to get that out. Loving Spirit of Light, we are grateful for this divine church home where we feel safe, connected, loved, and joyful. We ask that angels of light shine grace on our journey and bring us bodacious laughter and the truth of our wondrous destiny. As beacons of light, may we shine our abundant blessings and unconditional love, creating unity with all. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you. My reading skills are... Okay, don't go away, Mr. Phil. Don't go away. So Phil and I have been talking this week. You need a microphone.
We talk every week.
That's true. That's true. But we've talked a little bit about, we were talking about being in a positive state of mind. And sometimes that's really hard. You know, like the song said, you've had a bad day. Some of us have had a bad life. And it's hard to stay positive and motivated and in that place where we feel like we can move forward. So I wanted Phil to share his story of when he was 16. Remember?
Oh, that one. Okay.
Not that other one. No. That angel face.
I didn't get caught though, so.
Come on in,
read.
people. We don't care.
Come on in.
We're good.
It's okay. I read a book. Actually, the book is still out. And I didn't know who the author was at that time. I found out afterwards. But the book itself, at the time in my life, was perfect. It was called Dianetics. And I'm not promoting the book or the author or anything about it other than, you know, a typical 16-year-old, typical problems and angst and all that kind of stuff. And, depression
Nothing worse
and,
than teen angst.
yeah, it's typical stuff. So I figured, well, hey, let's read this. This kind of looks weird. So I read the book, and I remember so distinctly there was a passage in there, and I don't remember where it was, don't remember how they said it, but the way I got it was, you have a bad day or a bad life, okay, fine. But it doesn't matter, because it's up to you how you actually look at it. And it's up to you. If you react in a good way, then it's okay. Everything bad can be happening around you, and you can be just absolutely fine. And I went, really? It is up to me? And I honestly took it to heart. And that day I said, well, okay, what do I got to lose? And I just changed my mind. I mean, it was that fast. It was just an aha moment. And the next day, I went to school and I deliberately said, okay, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do it all day long. It's going to be in the forefront of my mind all day long. And everything that happened that day, I just had a good positive idea on everything. Nothing fazed me. Nothing. And I went, well, that was kind of cool. Wow. So I did it again the next day. And the next day. And I just kept doing it. And then all of a sudden, I forgot in the morning to say, hey, I'm going to do this today. It just was happening. It was just who I was at the time. And until I went in the military and got off of that bus down in San Antonio, I was fine. But But that's another story. But I did. I got off the bus, and the DI looks at me and goes, "What are you smiling about?" Nothing.
Not smiling
Not
anymore.
smiling anymore. So, but it really is that simple, and yet it's that hard. It's just up to you. So, and you do have bad days. I mean, good grief, everybody has bad days. Have some days that are worse than others, and some days but it's amazing the good things that happen. Oh my goodness, you just can't imagine the good things that start happening. And you don't even want to tell people what happens because you don't want them to go, "Well, why does that always happen to him?" And I go, "I don't know, but it does. Never used to. It does." So.
Thank you, Phil. I have other things I want to ask you.
Okay.
But for now,
Okay.
yeah, because I want you to cue up the video.
It's queued up.
Okay, all right. So, I was chatting with a gal this week, and she was saying she had a bad day. She had a really bad day. And it was starting to bleed into the next day. You know, she'd been working so hard at having a positive attitude, but she had this really bad day, and it was bleeding into the next day, and all of a sudden she stopped for coffee on her way into work, and she thought, okay, not only is just the bad day bleeding over, but I'm starting to now feel like I don't have enough money, I don't have enough resources, and everything's not working anymore. She says, I gotta stop this. I'm going to buy something for the guy behind me. And so she did. And the second she let the money go, her mood shifted. Everything shifted. She had gratitude, there was joy in her heart, it felt really good, she was back on track. So even if you're having a bad day, there's ways to get back on track. And the more often you're in this pattern of doing the positive expectation, having the hopeful attitude, being mindful and aware, the more you do that, the more solid that becomes, and it's easier to shift back. If we've been miserable for a long time, and then have this shift, it takes time sometimes for some of us. Not all of us are Phil Lynch that can just go, and it's different. He's just kind of amazing that way. Some of us get different and a little better, but again, it's this conscious effort. If you remember, he said he had to think about it every day. Every day it was a conscious choice until it no longer had to be a conscious choice. The video I want to share with you right now is a 2-minute video. It's on YouTube, so I think we can just play. I don't think it's a problem with YouTube. But it talks about how the brain wires itself and how it disconnects itself. So I want you to watch this video. So hit it, Mr. Phil, if you would. We're of data at a time. Let's do one thing and then go to the next. So don't you love the idea of pruning? If you have a negative pattern, prune it. And it's not a matter of just saying, oh, I'm stopping doing that. It's doing the right thing over and over and over and over and over. And it naturally just fades away. We as human beings are hardwired for negativity. Did you know that? We're hardwired for negativity because in our ancient past as human beings, we had to know what was wrong with our environment so we could be safe. We have that same hardwiring still within us because we have so much stress in our lives right now. How many people feel like they have stress in their life right now? And there's some people in the back going, oh, both hands up in the air, yeah. Stress happens. And the hardwiring for negativity is a natural response to that. I have to figure out how to not do the bad thing. And so we focus on that. When really what will bless our lives more is if we can hardwire in the positive. Because the positive is self-sustaining. The negative is always having to find new information to satisfy itself. What's wrong right now? What's wrong right now? What's wrong right now? What's wrong right now? And then we feed it all this information and our perceptions are distorted. But if we hardwire in, by our choice, if we hardwire in positivity, joy, peace, hope, abundance. Abundance is a mindset, is it not? And if we can hardwire that in, even in whatever circumstances are happening, then we can be the recipient of benefits as a result of that. It's like when we have this negativity hardwired in, and the brain is like, okay, this is always bad. It's always bad. My finances are always bad. My health is always bad. My relationships are always bad. Okay? See the pattern there? Okay. That sets up our body to create emanations. Because it's all a vibration. And if you have a vibration of, it's bad, I think knees on this side. He's seen it. Did it come from this side? Have you seen the sign up?
No, yeah, this way it came from that side. But I'm already on this.
Right. I just want to make sure you guys get it too. Did you get it? No, not for the drum circle. Oh, that's for drum. Okay. Which one of us has scattered emanations today? I think it's both of us. But whatever we're emanating is what the universe is going to say, oh, look, let's fill that. Let's send them more of that. And then, lo and behold, more of that comes. Have you ever, when you have a bad day, when it rains, it pours? You've heard that? Or when it snows, it snows. Apparently, we're getting some good heavy snow out there. So what are your emanations? Well, how can I be a positive when things are really bad right now? Okay, I get that. But there's always some good happening. And the more we focus on what good is happening, that lessens the connections to this negativity bias that we have, that we're naturally programmed for. And when we can release that and let that go, then it doesn't have a pathway for it, or a minimized pathway for it, our emanations now start emanating something different. And as we emanate something different, new things that fit that different energy will arrive, will come to us. So what is it you want in your life right now? I'm using that word want as for purposeful reasons. I want a new car. Well, there's something about wanting a new car that when we want it, it usually leaves us wanting. You end up spending money on this instead of on that, and this happens and takes the money that you were going to put on a car and because you're wanting. But if you can shift the want to a desire, to a hope, or a positive anticipation, then that shifts the energy again into this positive thing. So instead of, I need a new car because my car is terrible and it's broken and it's awful, instead of focusing on the what isn't working, saying, I'm open to a new car coming into my life. Guess what? That'll open more doorways for you than my car is broken, my car doesn't work, it's not. Does that make sense? Because this negative, I don't mean to have a specific position on my body, but when we're in a space of negativity, I'm putting it outside of myself. Take that and put it outside of yourself and really look at it. Because it doesn't have to be there. It's a choice. The first gift God gave humanity is the power of choice. Choose. Choose this or choose that. And you get to choose. Every day is an opportunity to choose. Somebody sent me a video. It was a guided meditation of something. I don't even remember who sent it or when it was or what the meditation was. But the person said one thing that really struck me and stuck with me. So it struck with me. We'll just make up a new language while we're at it. Right now. And it was, today's the day you've never lived before. I've never lived this day before. Who knows what could happen? And if we're in that state of negativity, we could draw more negativity to ourselves. If we shift and move into a state of positivity, then we can draw more positivity to ourselves. And not just today, but tomorrow and the day after, And if we can continue with that, that's the key. Not just a moment, oh, I'm going to be happy. Oh, it didn't work. And yet, some of the most beautiful things can happen in a heartbeat. You can ask for a sign from God and get it instantly. You can ask for connection to show that you're on the right path, and you can get it immediately. It happens. So the key is to disengage this pattern that we're naturally embedded with towards negativity, this negativity bias. And we can move into a place that's called neuroplasticity. We can change our mind. Neuroplasticity says change your mind. And here's the key. Changing your mind starts here in your heart. Because the brain is a wonderful servant and a terrible taskmaster. If you're running on your brain without your heart being engaged, it's going to tell you what's wrong, because that's its nature. If you move into your heart space where compassion exists, like the person who bought coffee for the guy behind her, compassion, gratitude, grace, love, peace, all of those things reside here and send information to the brain. And that information to the brain, then, the brain can rewire itself, because it can. And it does it on its own. You don't have to beat it to death. Just be what you want to be, and it happens. You know, Phil was telling you his story. I haven't always... One of my biggest things was fear. Always has been fear. Just terrified of people and places and things and blah, blah, blah. And the day I chose differently, fear had a different face. It's still there, but now instead of it being a terrified thing, now it's like, are you sure you're up to it? And I get to ask myself, am I up to this? No. Are you alone? No. Then I'm up to it. And it gets to be a choice. And often I have to make that choice frequently. Every time I stand in the back of the church, every Sunday morning, and I take the walk up here and turn my microphone on, it's a choice. Am I going to be afraid, or am I going to step up? Every Sunday. How many years have we been doing this? 30 years? 20 years? 20? Forever? Long enough, you'd think it would just be natural by now. But it doesn't take me as far. Sometimes 2 steps from the back wall and I'm shifted. But it's a choice. I could let fear be debilitating if I wanted to. I did the DNA testing thing, and come to find out there's neurotransmitters that are not there that most people have that supports being fearful. So I can take supplements and things like that. But it's really extra important for me to stay positive. It's really, really important for me. I have a Bible verse I want to share with you. Let's get the good book going the right way here. 2. Love this. Psalms 1:18-24. This is the day which the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. There's always something. And you know, there's people going through some really bad stuff right now. I get it. But you can focus on what isn't working, or you can focus on what is. I'm suggesting to you today that it might be a really good idea to start focusing on what is working. Philippians 4:4. I love this. This is fun. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Twice in the same sentence. Rejoice, and I'll say it again, rejoice. It's big. It's big stuff. I'm going to read a little further on here because there's keys to this. Let your forbearing spirit be known to all men. The Lord is near. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all comprehension, shall guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. There's a guardian here who will help you. not alone. You don't have to do this on your own. You have assistance. And finally, brethren, sistren, I don't think that's a word, but the Bible's not politically correct, that's right. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there is any excellence and anything worthy of praise, let your mind dwell on these things. There's a test we ought to do with everything that we're pondering. Because the mind has to work. It's what it came here to do. It has a job, and its job is to process data. So what data are you feeding it? Garbage in, garbage out. Feed it the good stuff. Feed it the things that are pure and true and honorable and right. The rest of the stuff, close the book, set it down, step away. Doesn't serve you anymore. Doesn't mean you have to be ignorant of current affairs, but quit wallowing in it. If there's something you can do about that, do it. If there's nothing you can do about that, then shift gears and do something different. Put your mind on something that you can do that's positive and moving forward. It's imperative. Your spiritual nature is this living being of light and love, and we're feeding it junk food. And it's dying. Remember last week I talked about nourish your body, nourish your spirit? Nourish your spirit with good stuff. What is pure and true and right and honorable? If it's not honorable, it doesn't deserve your brain cells. Your brain cells are valuable, but let your heart and your mind, let your heart guide your mind. Let your mind and your heart work as this team. They can be an awesome team together. Okay, I talked way too long. And I want to give you a guided meditation. So, should we do guided meditation first? Yeah, let's do that. Yes?